Module 3, Cognitive Indolence, written by Dr. George Tannous and narrated by Lydia. Greetings, welcome to lifecoachbootcamp.com. Important. Before you study this lesson, please watch this video. Why? Example. If you or your client are in a relationship and the other person displayed an attitude of not being truthful, you'll need to master and you'll need to educate your client the following. Confront and level. Assertive communications. As well as I feel good, PST. Positive self-talk. Make sure to answer the questions at the end and follow the instructions for submission. You might be asking yourself, I am not a criminal, why do I need to learn this? Well, the answer is simple. We are all humans, and cognitive indolence is recognized by psychologists as a criminal thinking error. Study it, don't be lazy. What is cognitive indolence? People with cognitive indolence or laziness take the path of least resistance. They are lazy and easily bored and will go outside society's rules just to do something different. They're always pushing the limits and making that one step over the line. When we hear stories about drug abusers or criminals indulging in activities that break the law, we often wonder why they do what they do. Questions about their decisions of engaging in criminal activities arise in our minds automatically, and we often ask, why can't they just stop? Why don't they pay their taxes just like everyone else? Why can't they lead a normal life? And why do they keep engaging in crime? In addition to this, we also hear stories about criminals who serve time in jail for years, and when they finally achieve their freedom, the first thing they do is go back to the criminal world. A few months after, the news is broadcast on television about how that criminal, after getting released from jail, committed another crime and is now once again behind bars. When we hear the news, we usually nod our heads in disappointment. Some people say criminals are stupid, some say they are stubborn, and some say they are born to bring harm to society. But is that always the case? Criminals are often labeled as cold, brutal, cruel, evil, or wicked, and the list goes on. But there is another term no one ever thinks about. There is one more factor that gives shape to criminal thinking. And that factor is cognitive indolence. Cognitive indolence is one of the common factors that's found in career criminals, where indolence stands for laziness. Yes, criminals share the common trait of laziness. Shocking, isn't it? But how does this laziness shape criminal behavior? How does laziness impact a criminal and influences his or her actions? Before we begin, it's important to understand what cognitive indolence really is. What is cognitive indolence? I choose a lazy person to do a hard job. Because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it. These golden words were spoken by none other than Bill Gates, the co-founder of Microsoft Corporation. And he wasn't wrong. In fact, lazy people do look for easy ways to get the job done. But in the case of career criminals, things are different. Career criminals become accustomed to taking shortcuts in life as laziness influences their actions immensely. Instead of putting in hard work just like everyone else, they come up with excuses that gives them false satisfaction and quick pleasure. This attitude keeps them from working hard to achieve their life goals, and when these fantasies don't come to life, they jump to taking shortcuts. I don't have to go to college, I'll be starting my own venture soon. I don't have to save money for that car, I'll get a good deal on that ride with the help of a friend. I don't need to prepare for that job interview, I've got some good connections that will help me get into that organization. These are some examples that illustrate how the actions and decisions of career criminals get influenced by their fantasies. It's not that career criminals lack goals, it's just that they lack the attitude to work hard. A similar attitude is found in drug abusers. Have you ever wondered why so many people struggle with drugs? Why so many people relapse even after spending a fortune on rehabilitation programs? Because they give in to temptations pretty quickly and stop resisting, just like a piece of rock tumbling down the hill. A career criminal and a drug abuser walk this path even after being aware of the consequences. A drug abuser is always aware of the consequences of his actions, he knows what he is doing to himself, yet he fails to resist. Similarly, a career criminal is fully aware that taking shortcuts might not help him achieve his goals, yet he gives in to the temptation of not working hard. The goal of career criminals and drug abusers is usually to indulge in short-term and temporary pleasure. They seek quick relief even when it backfires in the long term. The impact of cognitive indolence or simply laziness, not only causes a criminal to seek shortcuts to success, but also interferes with the will to change methods. There is a reason why so many criminals wind up in jail again within so quickly. It's because they are always seeking shortcuts, even when it comes to changing their methods and altering their ways. But cognitive indolence takes a lethal form when it gets mixed with greed or super-optimism. When a lazy person with big goals lacks the will to work hard, he often starts looking for easy ways to fulfill his dreams. These easy ways often take a person on the path of crime. Greed becomes the driving force. When coupled with super-optimism, this potion turns into a lethal cocktail that blinds a person. Every plan, every shortcut, every blueprint becomes a reality for the person, which pushes him to commit crimes to achieve his goals. Cognitive indolence fuels irrational thinking, irresponsible behavior, and unrealistic goals. The person becomes a victim of his own laziness that renders him with short-term happiness and fuels his false fantasies. In the end, the person finds himself on multiple paths and living a life without any purpose. The lack of will, motivation, mindset, perseverance, and the right attitude to work hard pushes a person to break laws and engage in activities that bring harm to the society. Is there a solution? The answer is yes. The solution is to provide better role models for young children. It should be important for teachers and parents to implant the idea from the early years that hard work pays off, and the world will not be handing things out. In order to achieve something, hard work and patience are going to play crucial roles. In addition to this, goal setting equips a person with a clear vision for the future and helps them stay motivated. If a person feels overwhelmed, goals can be broken down into long-term and short-term goals. The essay. Please write an essay, up to 2 pages, about a past experience you or someone else who is extremely lazy and keeps coming up with shortcuts to achieve success. Tell us in detail who, what, when, where, why, to whom, the time, the place of what you did, the outcome. And tell us in detail how you could have changed that use from what you learned today, so the outcome would have been good. Internalize this lesson. Make it become a part of you. Share your story in the forums. Our advice is for you to practice not making impulsive decisions for at least a week. Tell others around you to point out any event in which you didn't. Have them hold you accountable. Visit the forum and do a confession. What is a confession? A confession is when you've displayed a wrong behavior and were held accountable by one of your family members, peers, or even yourself. Visit the forum and tell us about it. We will give you feedback. Make sure to watch the video about confession for more details. Furthermore, become a member of the forum and give feedback to others. Read the article? Time to introspect. Would you call yourself a lazy person? If yes, what keeps you from taking action? Do you prefer taking shortcuts or do you believe in hard work? Have you ever been in a relationship with someone with big goals but a lack of dedication? How was your experience? What steps do you take to combat laziness? How do you get things done? Do you set long-term as well as short-term goals? What are they? List them out. There is no way any relationship will survive without having the qualities mentioned above. Make sure to read each article carefully at least 3 times. Print your workbook and answer all questions. Once you have completed this entire journey, you will be issued a life coach certificate, so long as you've been a member of the forums. Also, follow the instruction for sharing your story in our forums, as well as participating in our forums, especially our unique confessions forum, so you may gain practice, knowledge, experience, and expertise. I am thankful that you have given me this opportunity to share all of this with you. May God bless you and bring prosperity and peace into your life. Respectfully yours, George Tannous, Ph.D.